Woo! What's up, everybody, and welcome to ITG Daily, the show that brings you the hottest in gaming news. You can always join us live over on twitch.tv/theofficialITG, as well as YouTube at Inside the Game Official. But if you can't join us live, hit us up later, InsideTheGame.ca, podcast services, and TV streaming networks around the globe. Scott, what's happening, man?
Oh, I've had a development. My glasses are missing a screw. I just want to point this out right away.
I'm aware. Scott loses everything. Can't see nothing. The show is over, ladies and gentlemen. But it's not
a precarious situation I'm in. I can't read a book if these go down. So
we've got a lot to talk about today, Scott, because James Bond classic GoldenEye 007 could be making its way to Xbox. Hideo Kojima could be teasing fans about his next project, and the PlayStation 2 VR 2 is in production. Ha ha ha. Dude, let's do it. We got a lot to talk about. Let's get going.
You made me think PlayStation 2 VR. Oh,
PlayStation 2 is back, man. Let's go.
It's now the size of your thumbnail.
That's right. GoldenEye's 007 Xbox achievements have appeared online, possibly hinting at a new port. This comes from Adam Bankhurst over at IGN. GoldenEye 007, the legendary N64 game from Rare that is one of the most beloved multiplayer experiences for many around the world, including ours, I would say, Scott. I think that's fair to say.
Oh, you know, I'm torn between this or Perfect Dark, but they're really just one and two almost of the same series.
Almost, but maybe getting a new life on Xbox after achievements have been spotted for the game online. True Achievements, a website that tracks Xbox achievement activity, recently picked up an achievement list for GoldenEye 007, which had never been seen before. There are 55 achievements that are worth a total of 1,000 gamers score, and that is another hint this may be a new port. As many may remember, there was an updated version of the GoldenEye 007 game developed for the Xbox 360, Xbox Live Arcade, that was just about finished before it was canceled due to licensing issues. Scott, do you remember this one?
Oh, that one hurt so bad because it was there was talk of Perfect Dark coming back, and then it did, and I thought, oh, that's great. Well, how about 007? But it just didn't come to fruition, and that that bothered me back then. So really, they could drop that at any time, and it would be welcome because it's kind of one of those. It's the shooter that everybody got into first. If you're about my age or older, that's yours,
dude. It was such a memorable experience. 4 of us split screen in front of the old TVs. Like, I'm not talking a flat screen, I'm talking like the old tube 4x3, and we're all sitting there, and hey, don't look at my screen while I'm sniping you over here and picking off. I got the golden gun as a one-shot kill. Man, it was such a game changer.
I'm hearing it in my head right now, being a kid with my brother and my father, and he's up in the crow's nest.
Furthermore, True Achievements website also revealed that there are only 2 Xbox accounts that have earned any of these achievements: Big Sheep and Xtina McGrath. By searching for these names, it appears that Big Sheep and Xtina McGrath are Rare employees, James Thomas and Christina McGrath. While this doesn't necessarily mean that a new port of GoldenEye 007 on Xbox consoles is imminent, it is an exciting prospect for fans. Dude, it is coming. Come on. There's 1,000 gamer score. They're going to up-res this thing to 4K. Give us 60 frames per second. Let's go. Bring back such a beloved classic. Now, obviously, Scott, 007, James Bond has a ton of licensing hurdles to get through. I think that's the biggest. That's why we saw Reloaded canceled. Right? Because of the licensing technicalities behind the James Bond IP. But
there's a lot of things to kind of iron out, but if they can put it forward, you could. This is one of the few games where you could put it out at $100 and still would break records.
Absolutely. Well, that's
worth it.
Oh man, there's so many things. Happy New Year to Northern Nerdcast, who joins us live over at twitch.tv/theofficialITG. And get it, fellas. What's happening? Lee, who joins us over on YouTube. Everybody, hey, thank you for hanging out with us. It's always nice to see you guys hanging out, having a good time. We're talking games. We're talking about James Bond right now. Scott, also take note, dude, IO Interactive right now working on a James Bond title.
Yes. Oh, and that one's exciting too.
Very.
Not sure when that's going to come around. That's still many years out, if I had to guess. But
I think so. Yeah, I don't think we're going to see that anytime soon. I think that's the biggest thing, right? Is IO is working away, obviously very well known now for the Hitman franchise, one of my beloved IPs that I've been following for, I can say decades now this time.
yeah,
Man.
Oh, if I have been following it for 20 years.
Yeah, right. It's been around for that long. That's the thing. It's an incredible IP. So to give IO James Bond, and now if we can finally get one of our most beloved James Bond titles over on Xbox, because why? Well, that's because Xbox owns Rare. But where does all that licensing fall into place, right? And that's the biggest thing. If they can get through that, give us a new or an up-res game, because, dude, I couldn't imagine playing 007 GoldenEye right now. That would just be
with
disaster.
that original fuzz.
Oh, man, it'd be so blurry. You're like, whoa, what's going on? Yeah, that would be a disaster.
I think that was the game my father coined the term the Nintendo Tan.
The Nintendo Tan.
We played it so long. Yeah, it was like Delicio. You know how you're looking the Delicio in the oven? And it face? It was much like that.
Dude, we played that so much for so long. It had so many laughs. It was a great time. I remember so many friends getting together and just sitting around. The 64 controller. Dude, the Nintendo 64 controller was such a bizarre thing. It had that center handle, but it had the trigger. Dude, that trigger changed it though, right? And then all of a sudden you see PlayStation get adaptive triggers. Now you've got haptic feedback triggers. You got Xbox with their triggers. Oh man, what a game changer.
That was Nintendo 64 back in the day. That was before the need for a second analog stick. Keep that in mind. If we play 007 again, or GoldenEye, that is specifically with a thumbstick, it's a whole new game.
Well, that's just it. It's going to really change up how the game is played. So I'm curious to see how and when they're going to bring it back, and if they're
a
going to
lot
bring
less
it
of this.
That's so funny, man. Let's move on to Hideo Kojima teases plans for 2022, including quote, a radical project, end quote. Kojima talks about working on a radical project this year. This comes from Eddie McCooch over at GameSpot. Game designer Hideo Kojima has discussed some of his plans for 2022, saying he plans to experiment with a, quote, radical project, end quote, this year, and make further investments into the, quote, video team, end quote. We all know that he just launched a film/TV production team this year, or now last year, I guess it was, only being days into the new year of 2022. But yeah, so he's worked on putting this new studio together to kind of broaden his reach as an artist, I guess I would say, right? Because he's got so many ideas, I'm sure, just spinning in his head. Kojima said he might also pursue something new, like a radio project of some type.
Oh.
Like, dude, the guy's all over the place. He's going to have to clone himself, Scott.
I was going to say, like, he will have to. But if any of us could take a look inside of Kojima's head, what do you think you'd find there? And he's one of the last, I think, true artists on the planet. You know, the kind of stuff that you'd see during the Renaissance, but this man is, 400 years later.
I honestly don't know if I want to see inside Kojima's head. It'd be full of nightmares for me, and too many things I wouldn't want to see. But if they're in the deep ethos of his mind is another Metal Gear, I want to see that. or Metal Gear-esque type game I would love to see. Well, yo, I just had my headrest just fall off and hit me in the back. I was like, that was weird. There's nobody behind me.
Popped off. I don't know what's going on.
I was like, whoa, what the heck was that? Kojima discussed all of this on Twitter recently via VGC. He said 2021 was a very difficult year, but despite the challenges due to the pandemic, the team was able to release Death Stranding Director's Cut on PlayStation 5. Additionally, Kojima said his team spent the time in 2021 solemnly preparing and experimenting with new titles. Scott, that's something to take away right there. Dude, how many titles do you think we're going to get out of Kojima here in the next, I'd say, 2 years?
I think it's really one. He might be experimenting with a lot of different ideas, and I think that's kind of something he's always been dealing with. But and they usually just get compacted into one project, like, the zany Metal Gear that we know.
Uh-huh. Yep.
For him to be involved in a radical project, what do you think that means, though? Because do you think the man's ever touched a normal project?
No. Have you not played Metal Gear Solid 5? You get chased by a flaming whale. Isn't like what the
the fist fight on the
man.
on the top of the city in LA. Why are we in LA?
I remember playing the first hour of Metal Gear 5 and I was just like, what is going on? I had no clue what was going on.
Last hour though.
Oh man. You know what? I never finished the game. Yep.
Oh man.
There's
one spoiler that I will not get you with, but I want you to finish the game.
Well, it's funny. I hit a wall. I got stuck on some kind of boss fight, and then from there I veered off.
That happened to me
squirrel.
Too. I was paused for about 2 weeks, and it was the fight where you're in a house locked with Quiet, the sniper.
Yeah.
And they just come at you. They just keep coming, and I had to spawn basically every tank I owned, and it was intense. But it's the mark of a good game. It has to give you trouble.
It certainly gave me trouble to the point where I'm like, I'm not doing this anymore, and I bailed. It was just such a departure of Metal Gear. You know what I mean? Coming from my most favorite game of all time, Metal Gear Solid 3, Snake Eater, to get into Metal Gear Solid 5, I knew going in it was going to be different, and I embraced what it was. Dude, it changed a lot of stealth games, right?
Like, I thought, cool. Okay, Kurt Russell, that's going to be, I'm a little disappointed until I watched Escape from New York. Now I'm like, okay, Kurt Russell, all right. But then I got into the game and I thought, this is a lot like Mercenaries 2.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. I don't know. It was just I hit two of these mechs I had to fight at the same time, and I was oh man, I got destroyed, and then I just bounced.
I'm thinking of Kojima's next radical project. I'm thinking, does that mean the inclusion of movies, a show with a video game that would tie in his new project? And that's something that we've only seen in Quantum Break.
I was going to say that. No, I think that's the only one that was out of Remedy, right? Who made that game, and it had a good twist and tie over. And I think
awesome.
I think that is where he could be taking this next, because he wants to incorporate so much into the film and television side of things that I could see Kojima working off of both, right? So it would come out, I would say, episodically, Scott. So you would play a portion of the game, right? And then you would watch the show maybe 2 weeks later. And then you would get another episode for the game. And then you would watch it, like, you know what I mean? So they can go back and forth between the two. And they can carry that for a long time.
I'm thinking about the hours of cutscene in normal Kojima games.
We just sit back.
It'd be so easy to put it onto another video. Why not?
Oh man, him and his cutscenes are absolutely mind blowing. They're incredible.
1 hour later, you're like, okay, time to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's move on to what's happening over in the world of PlayStation, because manufacturing tips off PSVR 2 to enter in production soon. Comes from Sammy Barker over at Push Square. Scott, this is very exciting. Very exciting for me. The word on the social media street is that the next generation of PSVR headset will go into production soon. Speculation stems from a Chinese supply chain source who claims a company named Geotech has landed the contract. The firm previously partnered with PlayStation on its original virtual reality headset and supplied components for the PlayStation 5 as well. While the source is somewhat wishy-washy, that's not something we say very often on the show here, Scott. We've been
that's one of my favorite Pokemon of the last generation.
We've been unable to independently verify the information for ourselves. Geotech is enjoying record share prices, partly due to his collaboration with Meta on the Quest 2 headset. This is despite ongoing semiconductor shortages around the world. So the results are impressive. The firm expects to post similar results in 2022, with one major Japanese partner expected to ship around 1 to 2 million next-gen VR headsets later this year. So that's where the speculation is coming from, Scott, is that they've said that they're partnered with another Japanese partner to release another VR headset. PlayStation VR 2.
Well, it's good that these are the same, company, people that were working with the Quest. That gives me a lot of confidence, and especially if they had a hand in the original PlayStation VR, then that tells me that the upgrades are substantial.
Oh man, I'm definitely looking forward to see what we can get out of PSVR 2 versus where we were starting with PSVR 1. Right now, Truth and Blood and Truth, sorry, is the PSVR game we're watching. And dude, that was a cool experience because of the Move controllers. Like, they were very limited, but it worked really, really well with that game. It was a blast and probably one of the best PlayStation VR games out there. Blood and Truth was an incredible game. So if you have PlayStation VR and you haven't played that one yet, I highly recommend that. And Scott, you know what I just picked up recently? Dude.
What's that?
Hitman 3 on my PSVR.
Oh,
yeah. I haven't tried it yet. I got to get it downloaded. I've been too busy. The holidays.
I forgot about that. When I saw the first clip, I thought, all right, screwdriver, meat ear. That's going to be so. Can I even do that myself?
Yeah, no, it's definitely cool. I want to see how that plays out because I love VR, but dude, it always comes down to motion sickness, right? Like, how well is that incorporated so we don't get that?
I had an idea, but I don't think you'll like it. All right, Konami, come back with one more Metal Gear and call it Rex. Just call it Rex. You are the Metal Gear.
You are.
I know that's a really out there idea, but
man.
I just want to be the machine.
Do you think we get the PSVR headset this year, the second one, the 2?
Oh, well, we're into 22. This is the largest of the year, so I think that could be coming towards the end. I think that might make a lot of
holiday
sense,
season, right?
It's going to depend on the semiconductors, really.
Absolutely. A lot of us still to this day have a hard time getting the PS5, never mind working into the world of PlayStation VR 2, right? So it has been out there. They have the opportunity now to start building their library and their ecosystem for VR because developers are working on the next generation of PlayStation VR headset. So to see them hopefully transition over, maybe we can get an announcement this summer. It's kind of what I'm hoping for, right? We've seen the new controllers, which look incredible. And I want to see what the headset has, which apparently rumor has it that it has haptic feedback right in the headset. I don't know if I want my head shaking all over the place, but we'll see what happens. Right? Nothing like getting a bullet in the temple on the right. so we'll see. We'll see what happens there. But it is cool. I'm hoping. I would really like to see it this holiday season. I would love to. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if it gets pushed to 2023 though.
I'm wondering, is the PlayStation VR 2 is that only PlayStation 5?
Yes.
Because then you get into a competitive kind of, where do you put the semiconductors? Do you prioritize more console or these are two different companies, of course, but
sure.
I'm sure they're all borrowing from the same production.
Yeah, no, that's a valid point, right? Like, where do you what's your biggest selling feature right now? PlayStation 5 or your VR headset? Well, let's be honest, right? It's going to be the main console, not the VR. VR is still somewhat kind of niche in a sense, but it is out there. PlayStation VR did really well, but it was their first starting point, but it didn't do nearly as well as PS4, right? In PS5, I'm sure is already outsold PSVR headset. So I think that's the biggest selling feature is you get your PS5 in as many hands as possible. My question is, and I don't know this answer, is do you need the next camera in order to work with the next VR headset? Because in the last one, right, the PSVR, you required the 1080 camera in order for that thing to work properly with its spaghetti of wires. So hopefully we're going to avoid that now. We're only going down to one wire, but do we need that other camera? I think that's the big question I'd like to find out. But let's see what happens in the future for that. And we'll see what happens in the future for Cyberpunk 2077 is back. Scott, 1.5 patch. And first DLC info reportedly leaks.
Oh no! Stop beating it! It's
Here it comes.
Dead.
This comes from Paul Tassi over at Forbes. Now that is Q1 2022, we should expect CD Projekt Red to start talking next steps for Cyberpunk 2077 at some point, as this is when they promised the next gen versions of the game would launch alongside a large patch. We also know they're working on a large DLC to be released down the road. Well, according to a new alleged leak, there's some info about both of these endeavors that sounds vaguely plausible. But the source is someone on 4chan who claims to have inside information. we've seen those leaks go either way over the years, and this could just be educated guesses based on rumors that already exist. But let's go through what's being laid out here. Update. Cyberpunk CD Projekt Red global PR director Radek Grabowski has weighed in on this leak and told me, quote, "This thing does not add up," end quote. We'll try to see if we can tell what? We'll try to see if he can tell me if that means none of this is coming or just certain things are wrong. Some aspects of this are pulled directly from the data mine files. So it seems unlikely that nothing here will show up in the next patch or DLC. Scott, things are happening over there. Cyberpunk is still in the ecos.
Yeah.
Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, it really depends on who.
Them for cleaning it up.
Absolutely.
I haven't checked in to see how it works, but the next generation version is where I'm going to check it out. So
sure,
here's hoping that runs smoother. They've had nearly a year to kind of fix it up.
Well, that's just it, right? Like, it's such a weird situation coming out of CD Projekt Red. Something I didn't really expect. Now, The Witcher 3 apparently did not launch all that well either, which was unbeknown to me. Like, I didn't realize that at all. I heard it had, it had some glitches and bugs, but nothing near what Cyberpunk experienced, right? Like, that was at a whole other level, to the point where, like, it still blows my mind that PlayStation took it off the store. Like, it still stands there.
I want to play it at its current level.
No,
I almost wish there was like a legacy, just so you can enjoy it for
the jank.
The same way I enjoy Bethesda games, and I laugh at some of the issues.
I get it. I get it. Sure.
Far less numerous, but they're well known. But I want to see that exploding NPC. All right, I was supposed to turn this mission in, and boom.
It's funny because I saw the Steam Awards are out, and Cyberpunk won the best story of 2021.
Oh,
so that tells you something, dude. It was well played over on Stadia. It played great on Stadia. Corey from the show played it over there, had a great time with the game. Nate and I played on Xbox. I know friends that have actually kind of bricked their Xbox. So it's had a roller coaster of a ride since release, but good on CD Projekt Red for keeping at it, keeping going, and just trying to fix it to get to a stable state. Let's see what next gen console brings for this game, and more importantly, Scott, give me The Witcher 3 remastered, buddy, because I really want to play that now that I've wrapped up season 2.
Yeah, well, any of the Witchers, you just get started off with 2. That's the one I played, much older.
Yeah.
You bring that to the next gen, oh boy. But
man.
CD Projekt Red has their hands full, but like I said, you have to respect them for sticking with it. If they come out with something remotely viable, that's going to spawn a whole new series, and that's why everybody's so mad about it.
No, absolutely. I think there's such high expectations for this game at launch, and for it to be such a blunder, which is unfortunate because you knew this is going to be the next the next trilogy coming out of CD Projekt Red, and it just didn't happen. But we'll see if they get there. Scott, what we are there though, right, is at the end of the show, buddy. So what games do we have coming out today?
We have Deep Rock Galactic, and that is on the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5.
Have you checked this out yet? It's actually out on PC already. In Xbox, isn't it?
Game Pass, actually. Yeah,
it is. Okay, I thought so.
It was interesting. Definitely a multiplayer game. But,
yes.
It definitely has some potential.
Cool.
Now, there's also the Pedestrian, and that releases on, now, you ready for this one? Linux, Mac, okay, a little less strange than Linux, PC, PS4, PS5, Switch, the Xbox One, the Series consoles.
Dude,
no PSP there.
No, or Stadia. That's the
or is the 3DS, unfortunately.
The 3DS. Dude, I'm gonna check out the Pedestrian. It actually kind of looks cool. I'm up for a good puzzle game. Let's go. I'm down for that. Oh yeah, absolutely. Scott, that's gonna wrap up today's show. Everybody, thank you for hanging out with us. This has been ITG Daily, the show that brings you the hottest in gaming news. You can join us live over on twitch.tv/theofficialITG, as well as YouTube at Inside the Game Official. Someday we'll get that fixed. Until then, you can always join us live as well over at InsideTheGame.ca or hit us up podcast services and TV streaming networks around the globe. I'm Drew, that's Scott, and we'll see everybody tomorrow inside the game.